Well, first of all, it's called Web 2.0. The computer industry has a way of bringing new acronyms in when they might have already been around for a while. So many organizations have been using the cloud type functionality, whether it's in their own data centers or whether it's a third-party data center run by a telco. People have been placing data into a cloud, right? Because the comms have been viable in this region for the last few years for people to be able to maybe have a disaster recovery site hosted somewhere. Now, Web 2.0 is bringing that functionality to all businesses. So to me, the consumer, I can send my photos to Flickr, I can send my documents to Google, and an organization can store their data, their production data or the disaster recovery data inside a data center created by them or created by a provider of these services. Web 2.0 is starting to offer online services. Now this is critical. Customers don't want to own software licenses anymore. They don't want to go through long deployment cycles. Hence the success of Google. You log on, everything's web-based, and people are actually using that in commercial ways as well. Even though I don't believe it's ready yet to be used by big corporations, Google is a great example of people understanding the concept. So applications online that don't require customization, don't require equipment and so forth. Now the challenge there is security. Where does my data reside? Is it being protected? Is it being backed up? Is there DR and so forth? Generally you'll find the reputable organizations providing cloud services will offer redundancy and so forth. EMC Security Division ensures that your data can be encrypted. It can be audited by the audit firms for compliance to various laws and so forth. So again, the impediment is, do we do it ourselves or do we allow it to leave our data center? And so I guess we need to persuade the technologists in the firm that this is becoming more and more viable. We have many, many large organizations now doing backup on demand, disaster recovery on demand, even things like financial applications on demand at a remote site. The thing is, I always think of it from my perspective. I don't care where my telephone signal comes from, as long as I have a signal. And nowadays, with the ability to have good performance broadband networking and wireless networking, we really want to be connected all the time, and we don't want to be at the mercy of our internal IT people. I want to be able to connect whenever I want, but I want a service level. So they're the things that are going to really come to play as the financial crisis plays out. People are going to start doing more and more on the cloud. Online backup is a really good opportunity to eradicate the bane of most IT managers' existences from under their control and give it to the experts. Interestingly, backup has been the same for 60 years. You know, MagTape has been around for 60 years. And the biggest single problem still is, can we back up in time? And worse than that, can we recover the data? Particularly in these days of compliance. You have to keep stuff for 7 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And you know, IT managers can't guarantee that they can recover what they backed up yesterday, much less in a few years' time. So there has to be an education. First is archive. Archive what you need to keep for the long term, and then concentrate your backups on the rest of the data. Again, the statistic is around 80-20. Then, what to do with this 20%? Well, you need disaster recovery. You need to have service levels. There are options. There are many organizations in this region offering backup on demand services. Either you have your data in your data center and it's transported to disk-based backups with deduplication or tape-based backup to the remote site, or you can move the servers into a cloud. So there are various opportunities. Now the best thing there is you have a service level. You can actually say, I want this data back in N hours, or there's a penalty, right? Now you generally don't have that with your IT department. If you can't get data, you can't get data. Everyone hates the IT department, but they get over it. Whereas this is a formal relationship. We're hearing that up to 70% of an IT budget is information management, disaster recovery, backup and recovery. Yet about 30% of the time, your restorations and your recoveries fail. Given to a professional organization who is mandated with providing a service level to you, you can actually have peace of mind. Because one file not being able to be recovered could mean a huge fine. To be quite frank, it depends on the provider. Providers that have beta software for 8 years and you don't know where the equipment is, you don't know what type of equipment they use, I'd be a bit wary of giving them my data. But there are many, many, many high-profile vendors who guarantee data integrity, who guarantee encryption, who can withstand governmental audits to ensure that the data is safe. And I think the mindset these days is, we're giving our data every time we log on somewhere. Be it our credit card details, our email details, our personal data is flying around all over the place. Corporate data is just the same, right? If you can guarantee that it's protected, I think it's very, very safe to have on demand, and probably better than having it in your data center.